What are you doing this weekend? Have you seen Bert live? Because the Permission to Party World Tour is coming October 1st to Morrison, Colorado, October 2nd to Salt Lake City, Utah, October 3rd in Idaho Falls, October 4th in Nampa, October 5th in Yakima, Washington. And you can avoid scalpers. Get your lowest ticket price by going to bertbertbert.com and buying your tickets there.
The more healthy muscle mass you have, the better your erections.
Really?
Yep. Now I just got the attention of every male out there.
You got to pump it up.
You got to pump it up. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited that you're here.
I know.
So we met a year ago.
Doesn't feel like a year ago.
It does not. It feels like yesterday.
Yes.
You and I connected immediately. We were at Whitney and Andrew's birthday party, and we talked the whole party.
Yeah.
Just the two of us.
Who else was there? I don't know.
I have no idea. There were a couple people there.
And then,
a lot of really smart people there.
Yeah.
Brilliant people in their own right. But you and I just connected.
And we stayed in touch for an entire year. And
Yes.
it just feels like, I don't know, the party was going to have been a week. It's in a week.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be our, is there a bromance but the equal to a female?
Yes.
A femance?
It's not a fromance, is it? I'm not sure.
We have a fromance, and our fromance anniversary is in a week.
It's in a week. Happy anniversary.
Okay. Yeah, we had the best time.
We had the best time. We actually didn't talk about what you do. We just talked about parenting and life and marriage and just girlfriend stuff.
Yeah.
Right away.
Right away.
So lucky.
I know. And, after this, we're going to be going to dinner. And so I've got a lot more to talk to you about. As we were talking before, as a mom of 2 kids, I run 4 businesses, plus the book, plus the stuff. And then I take a late night flight out Wednesday to see my kids, to go to chop with them on Thursday.
It's hard to do everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
You really do have to, I think, live.
Yeah.
Not regulated, but you have to kind of like have your ducks in a row to be able to get all this done, right?
Yeah. And I think that you have to be really intentional because even if everything is organized, I think parenting is hard. I don't really know what I'm doing. That's why I'm calling you. I don't know.
Right.
And I want both my kids to be able to live a good life. And I recognize that we're not raising children, but we're raising adults. And that we need to have standards, and then we have to have, a way of thinking about things so that they have guardrails for how to go about a life that we never had social media. We were never up against the velocity of information and exposure to people that our kids are up against now.
No, for sure. Never. We just had a creeper in the neighborhood. We just had to deal with one creeper. Everybody knew the creeper.
Hilarious. Yeah.
And you just avoided that house. It was super simple.
And we don't have that now, and I think that it's very challenging. And it's very challenging to be able to create boundaries for these children, but mental frameworks to be able to navigate a life that most of us, we've never lived before.
It's a whole new frontier.
Yeah, it is.
There's something actually, I think, a little exciting about it. Like you can glass half empty it or you can glass half full of it. The reality is this is the reality.
Yeah.
So you can lean in. Actually, a lot of this is in your playbook. You can lean in and really accept the challenge, right? As a parent, as a person taking care of your health, as a spouse, as a sibling, as a friend. You have a choice, right?
Yeah.
You either lean in or you lean out. And parenting, leaning in is so much more rewarding. I read Forever Strong and the Forever Strong Playbook, and I read them both this past week. I took copious notes. I have 3 pages of notes. I loved both books. And the whole time I was reading Forever Strong, I kept going, I can't wait to get to the playbook because I want it to all be like condensed.
Exactly.
I want to have like a map of how to do everything I just learned. So I felt like the Forever Strong book for me was really important to read before the playbook because then I understood in a very deep way what the why, and you talk about the why in your book, the why you decide to make changes in your life, no matter where the change is. It could be anywhere, right?
Yeah, and you have to be really intentional and clear about what matters because, if we were to think about a triangle, the bottom is discernment. What is relevant versus what is not relevant? And then what is the right next action to take?
Right.
And then you have discipline to take that action. And then we hope there's some kind of freedom.
Right.
Mental and physical.
Right. So give me a quick rundown of who you are.
Okay. I am a mom, a wife, a physician, podcaster, and author.
Wow.
Yes.
That's how many threats
and
is
I
that?
still
Like
can't.
6?
I still can't even find my shoes or socks, but that's okay. I am a fellowship trained physician in nutritional sciences and geriatrics. It's 17 years of education. I don't recommend anyone do that.
That's a lot.
It is. I did 5 years of nutritional sciences plus 2 years of, and then 4 years of medical school, and then 2 years of psychiatry.
Wow.
And then 3 years of family medicine.
Wow.
And then a 2-year fellowship.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to go through all of that education? What was the driving force?
That's a great question. No one has ever asked me that.
No?
No one has ever said, wow, you did 17 years of education. Why?
Yeah.
Ever since I was young, and you and I talk about parenting a lot, and I'm just going to be as candid as I can be and want to be. I always felt that my mission in life was to really help people and really be there. I care very much. I'm very empathetic. And my calling was in any capacity to be able to really help them. And I originally thought it was in nutritional sciences. And then I kind of thought about what would make me the most useful to people, which is an odd thing to think. I was in the university. I was at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, and there was a fallout shelter because there was a tornado warning. And we were there for 2 hours. Can you imagine? I'm like, this is it. And if something happened, I could do nothing to be of service. And that's when I decided to go to medical school.
Wow. Wow.
But my interest in muscle and nutrition never changed. That was always the foundation.
Okay.
Always.
So before you decided to go to medical school, nutrition and muscle were your focus.
Yes.
So where did that come from?
My godmother was one of the OGs in the nutrition space as a
Really?
PhD. Yeah. And I graduated high school early and I moved in with her.
Wow.
And I worked for room and board. I had no exposure to nutrition. I was very interested in fitness, but I had zero exposure.
Until you moved in with her?
Yeah.
And you were just fascinated?
I was fascinated. And I watched her help treat people with food.
Food.
Yeah.
That's why you're so good at it. That's why you're so good at it. I believe that I believe that when you start something as a child, and being out of high school is still a child, I think it becomes part of your DNA in a different way than when you started in your 20s or 30s. Like if a kid starts...
That's a really good point.
I think it does. I think that you absorb information in kind of a broader way than just reading or listening to someone. I don't know. I have this theory about, like, I started water skiing at pretty high level I started water skiing when I was 6. By the time I was 13, I was skiing so intensely that someone on the lake stopped my dad and was like, I'd like to train her to compete. And I wasn't interested. But every time I put a water ski on, I am on top of the water and I'm just like, I'm 55 and I haven't skied regularly. So it's like a muscle memory almost. I think something like what you just described becomes a muscle memory. It becomes some kind of instinct that was put in you before maybe you didn't even realize it.
I think that's a really good point. And there's two things that are happening. When you're young, and also even when you're 6, you're laying a foundation for both physical and mental health, right? You're priming your body for metabolic success, and I'm sure we'll talk about that, but also mental flexibility. And I do think that that is right on. And, a lot of people change multiple careers, but I haven't. I have always been interested in nutritional sciences. And I've been trained by one of the best guys in the world, which is such an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't get away with anything. If it's wrong, you're like, that's wrong. You got to fix that. I'm always cringing, every time I make a statement, I'm like, is that accurate?
Right.
Yeah. So that's really where the passion came from. And I feel that if you have the ability to do good in the world, you have a responsibility to do it.
To be of service.
You do. And I was never on social media, and I finished my fellowship. And I picked up social media for the first time and I saw all this misinformation. And I had just spent 2 years at the bedside of patients dying. And then I'm out here looking at all this nonsensical information that I know that's going to make those people who are in midlife so much more unhealthy that I felt to myself, well, I can't just not do something.
Right.
And that's how it started.
That is a huge service. Because I feel like everything you talk about in in Forever Strong and in the Forever Strong playbook are information that is vital. It's not just like interesting. It's not just interesting. It's vital.
Yeah.
It's extremely important, especially when you get to middle age. I'm 55. So understanding that your musculature system is an organ. When you said that in the book, it was like, I went, duh. Why isn't the medical field treating it like your heart or your lungs? Duh.
Isn't it fascinating when you reframe and reorient yourself? We have been spending decades, I don't know, the last 50, 60 years trying to lose weight, trying to address obesity, as if that's the problem. It's a problem, but really it's related to the health of skeletal muscle first.
Right. And it's about the food you eat.
Yes.
You know, you have to put in. When I grew up, I lived with my parents' divorce, and part of the time I lived with my dad, who we lived with his parents, who had a cattle farm. So we raised our own beef.
Oh, wow.
We raised our own pork. We raised our own poultry. And we would trade with the dairy farm down the street. The grocery store to buy Oreos was like a 40-minute drive. So for us to get processed food was tough. And, you know, of course, when we got Doritos and Oreos, there was a serious fight happening, and it would be eaten by the time we got home because it's like crack. But when I remember when I became aware of food outside of my family culture, how different it looked than what was put on my table.
You know, you bring up a really good point, is food is a choice. And for every person, there's an opportunity to eat whichever way. And we've always been chasing novelty. We are addicted to novelty. There was the grapefruit diet, the cabbage soup diet, the amphetamine diet, the lucky diet. And as humans, it's a weakness that we chase novelty. But my goal is to provide foundational information that allows for people to make good decisions, to go from interested to action.
Right.
To go from interested to essential knowledge so that they can live well and change the trajectory of how they age. Because aging is inevitable. I don't care how good your Botox is. Mine's not that good, but I'm still waiting. You know, I'm still trying. But we do have a choice, and we have voluntary control over our muscle system. It's the only organ system we have control over.
Right. So what gets people from interested to action?
Inspiration and education.
Inspiration and education.
Yeah. People don't act if they're interested. They might be curious, but the big gap for people is from understanding to the next step. And that's actually where more people fail. I mean, if you ask anyone how many diet and health books they have, I don't know, I probably have 17. And the question is, what is stopping people from actually making the next right step? And part of it is that we think about how do we build a framework for nutrition and how do we build a framework for exercise, but we fail to see that we also have to build a framework for how we think. And that's what bridges the gap.
Yes. So in your book, in the playbook, in both books, but in the playbook, you said there are 4 pillars to optimizing your body and mind: how to think, how to eat, how to move, how to recover. Boy, that's so true, isn't it? I read this and I went, I'm doing good in 3 of them.
Really?
And the 4th one, I suck. So bad. And I actually came to my trainer today because I worked out with him this morning and was like, 3 of them, I'm in pretty good shape. Recover?
Same.
I suck. I am the worst. I do
okay.
nothing that you say in the playbook. I go, nope. I don't have any of that. I don't have time. I don't have interest.
So funny.
A sauna means a shower. No can do. Like, I just am like the recovery. And what's really interesting, before I told him this, I was in this ridiculous exercise where I had a band around my knees. I was in a lunge where I was on my back toe. He had me holding on to these rope things so that I had to hold up my body at a 90-degree angle. My ass was exploding. I was dying. I was cursing him out. I called him a whore. And he's not. I was so mad that he was making me do this. I was at the end of an hour of working out. The last exercise was for the devil. It was horrible. And when when I was in the exercise and he goes, he talked very softly and he goes, do you know why I put you in this exercise last? And I went, no. And he goes, it's because you don't ask for help. It's because you don't let people do for you. I'm going to make you feel this. This is what your life looks like because you won't ask for help.
Wow. This
You're
guy
not
is
recovering.
genius.
He's a fucking genius.
Wow. What
You're
a
not
G.
recovering. You're not relaxing. You're not giving people things to do. And you're going to sit in this. You're going to feel this pain because this is the pain you're causing yourself by not letting people help you.
Oh my gosh.
And I got up and I went, I'm reading this book.
And next time I'm going to use recovery.
How to recover. And he's like, that's right. That's where you're not.
How did he know?
He just knows me really well. He's an amazing trainer. He is similar to you. He is not a doctor, but he is someone who has 8 certificates in forms of nutrition, massage, and several different methods of physical training. He developed a program that's still used at Loyola to train athletes. He trains some of the women who competed at the U.S. At the last Olympics in Paris in beach volleyball. He just trains elite athletes or geriatrics.
You're not geriatrics. You need another 10 years.
People with injury. That's all he trains.
Amazing.
He's bored by, I just want to look good. He wants someone who has something he's got to figure out.
Okay.
So he's kind of brilliant like that.
So yeah, he figured out that you need to recover more.
Recover, yes.
Well, I have a confession because I'm not good at recovering either. And I wrote about it because it's important, but actually that's not true. I cold plunge every day.
So there you go. You're one ahead of me. I don't know what I do to recover. I really don't know what I do.
How is your sleep?
My sleep is okay, not great. I think my sleep is inconsistent because my habits are inconsistent. And I don't really know how to fix it, sort of. We travel so much. I'm never home consistently.
Tough. It's tough.
And if I end up having to sleep with Bert, he snores horrifically, so I'm not sleeping well there. We're in a sleep divorce, which is the best thing ever. I highly recommend for people who live with apnea, folks. It's
Does
the
he
best.
use a CPAP?
No.
Okay, well, we really have to talk about this.
Good luck.
Listen, my husband, who is a former SEAL of 10 years, he's not even 40 yet, and he has sleep apnea.
Yeah.
There's central sleep apnea. There's also sleep apnea because of the size of your neck. If it's greater than 17 and a half inches, you have to treat that. If you don't, you can have increased blood pressure, increased risk of cardiovascular disease, increased risk of dementia. And no, it's not hot. You look like you are going to full scuba. I don't even know what's happening. I don't know if you're ready to fly. You got the eye mask.
Top Gun, right?
Sleep apnea is not real. It's a myth. Just like dental work.
Just like
We'll talk about that at dinner.
Dentists and sleep apnea, it's a fucking hoax. Just like statins. That's Joe Rogan about statins.
See how angry, if it gets anyone as angry as this, they definitely need to be treated. So my husband, former Navy SEAL of 10 years, who's now a surgeon, is hysterical. Him and Bert should both try it. Goggles, earplugs, face mask. I mean, it's really hot. It's like birth control.
Right?
Yes.
But it's good, right? It's really good for you.
You have to do it. You have to sleep. I'm not good at it.
A quick message from today's sponsor, the ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program. Life with a pet is full of surprises. A chewed up sock, a spur of the moment adventure, an unexpected vet bill. That's why ASPCA Pet Health Insurance is worth checking out. Their plans are flexible, easy to customize, and help you stay prepared for whatever your dog or cat gets into. The best part? There's a special perk for signing up. When you enroll in an ASPCA Pet Health Insurance plan, you could get a $25 Amazon gift card. It's a little treat for you while you're doing something great for your pet. The program offers customizable accident and illness plans, making it easier to get your pet the care they may need. It's been around for almost 20 years and has covered nearly 1 million pets in that time. I don't know what I would do without pet insurance. I think if you're going to have a pet, the responsible thing to do is to get yourself pet insurance, because when your dog or cat really needs help, you can relax and just make sure they get the help they need. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/wife. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/wife. Eligibility restrictions apply. Visit aspcapetinsurance.com/Amazon terms for more info. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance.
People recover in ways that suit them. Meaning, first of all, you don't build muscle when you're training. You build muscle when you're recovering.
What?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Wait, what do you mean when you're recovering? Like when you're sleeping?
Yeah, when you're sleeping or when you're resting or when you're not training. I'm sorry to break it to you. Your trainer was right.
Oh, well, I knew he was right.
And not only that, for anyone listening who's like, God, it's so hard for me to be and maintain my nutrition program. If you are sleep deprived, you are much more likely to eat sugary foods. You're tired, you're looking for quick energy. Also, your blood sugar is all crazy. I mean, when I used to work in the hospital, I would be up for 24 hours. I was like, is anyone eating those donuts over there? Anyone eating those?
Right.
3 days old, no problem.
Right.
And so you make bad decisions when you are really fatigued. But when you think about muscle and your metabolism, you do have to recover. There is no replacement for sleep. Some people genetically need less. Some people need more. Yeah. And then, of course, there's other modalities for recovery, which I like to use because then I don't have to sleep.
Oh, there you go.
I mean,
you balance it. So are you telling me if I go in the sauna, I don't have to sleep?
No. I hate to break it to you. But the reality is it's tough if you have a very busy life.
Yeah.
But if you are someone who can prioritize sleep, I'm really trying. I'm really trying. Last night, I was so proud of myself. I went to bed at 10:30.
Well, I will say this about you. I am glad to hear you say that you are not good at certain things, because the outside package looks like that you follow your playbook to the letter. And if you're saying out loud, I struggle with recovery, that makes me feel like then I'm okay to struggle with recovery. It's all a work in progress.
Yes.
You know, I think what becomes hard for people who haven't found their inspiration or education yet, haven't moved from interest into action, is that they feel sometimes it's insurmountable, or that you have to be perfect, or that you have to, never miss a workout or never have a bad meal. And if you do have those things, you just give up.
Totally.
And it's completely a lie. It's not true. Everybody struggles with something. There's no perfect human.
That's right.
So to hear you say, this is where I have to do work, I would hope would inspire people to go, okay, well, I don't have to get it all right from the start. And you actually say that in your book.
You don't. No. But you have to prepare for your human vulnerabilities. That's critical. The most successful people that I take care of, I still have a medical practice?
You do?
Yes.
On top of everything else?
Yes.
Wow.
I still see patients.
Wow.
What I will say is there's a through line that people, they have certain attributes that really allow them to excel. And this is not going to be what you think. Are you ready for what it is?
Yeah, I'm so ready.
Okay.
Yes.
They're neutral.
What?
They are so neutral. You would think that in order to be successful, you have to pump yourself up and do push-ups and I'm going to go crush this workout. They're not. They're like, my book came out, just another Tuesday.
What?
Yep. Yes. Because they never get too high or they never get too low, because those are the moments of vulnerability that people, pick your vice. I love shopping online. If I ever send you something that I'm shopping online, you'd be like, girl, how you doing?
Yeah.
You got problems. What's wrong?
Yeah.
And, as you are getting more and more amped to do X, Y, and Z, you're chasing this dopamine, chasing this drive, and you're vulnerable at that peak. And as high as you allow yourself to go will be as low as you fall. If you allow yourself to get pumped up or angry or any of those things, you will have a mirror image response.
Wow. Bert, I hope you're listening.
Bert, I did that one for you, friend.
Yes.
But what is really important is that it's predictable. And that when you are at that peak, you're vulnerable. And also when you're at that trough, you are vulnerable.
Okay.
And if you do not recognize that, then it can last for weeks. It can last for days and weeks. And you don't take care of yourself. You are more vulnerable for your vices. Mine is caffeine and online shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has something different. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's, I don't know, buying cars, chasing girls, drinking, doing drugs, whatever it is. They will find themselves trying to get back that dopamine drive. Mm-hmm. And all of this to say is that the people that are most successful in their health and wellness journey, they are very neutral because they're not thrown off. They're able to get off the X and do the next right thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you're someone who's inclined to have those highs and lows, so to speak, how do you get yourself to be more neutral?
You practice.
You practice.
Are you ready for the tips?
Yes.
This is going to be the world's most annoying thing. Mm-hmm. And I want you to do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. So a lot of what we experience is this dopamine drive that we're always looking and excited for something. Mm-hmm. And so we don't practice discipline and commitment in the moment. We practice it outside of the action that you are required to take. So I don't want you to practice being disciplined with food and exercise because that's we don't practice on the battlefield. We practice outside the battlefield. And here's how you practice. The first thing that I love to have people do is do you like Starbucks?
Of course.
Okay. Go to Starbucks, pick your drink, order your drink, flip a coin. Heads you get it, tails you don't.
Mm.
How annoying would that be? You'd be like, that's annoying.
Yeah.
And then do it again. Do it for a couple of days in a row. The first 3 times, you'll be super annoyed, like really annoyed. And then after that, you can expect to either get it or not, and you find just a little less friction. Mm. So this allows you to begin to tolerate the unexpected, and you have less of a narrative about it. Because after the 5th time, you're like, okay, so I might get it or I might not. Mm-hmm. You can translate that to workouts or food or anything that you need to do because you stop telling yourself a story about it. Mm-hmm. It just kind of gets old.
Yeah.
Another thing is you have to modify your emotional response in the moment and just throughout the day. Don't get too pumped up. If you feel yourself getting amped up, you have to emotionally regulate and be like, nah, just another Tuesday.
Right.
On all of these little things.
Right.
And then you can begin to be more neutral. Mm-hmm. And then when you're going out, for this book launch, it's kind of like, just another Tuesday. I mean, that's not entirely true.
Yes.
But for the most part, it's not nearly as intense as it was the first time.
Right. That makes sense.
So we practice neutrality so that you are in control of your next right action.
Okay. Now, some might say, that sounds boring.
It is.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world. And guess what? You don't need to chase novelty to be able to commit to something bigger than yourself.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the stronger you are, the more resilient you are, the better off you're going to be. Yeah, it might be boring. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Find other ways to create friction, and ways to counteract that would be you don't like cold plunging, you don't like training hard, or doing something that you are deeply focused on in that moment, full out and then stop. Mm-hmm. So fully focused, all of your attention. It won't feel boring. It's intense.
Right.
And then pull back.
Right. So what you're talking about really, to me, sounds like a little bit like self-regulation.
Totally.
And, grit. Because grit is created, in my opinion, and this is just me talking, by kind of coming up against adversity. And it doesn't have to be big adversity. It can be very small, and staying strong in it.
That's exactly right.
And just practicing that. So
yes.
The Starbucks seems silly, sort of, but not at all.
It's annoying. And also figure whatever it is that drives you that you think you should just be able to get. So we live in a world of comfort, and we have anything and everything we want. Mm-hmm. For example, I was joking to your team that I can drink enough energy drinks to kill a draft horse. And if you're watching this, I'm 5'1", maybe 110 pounds. I'm a small human.
Soaking wet. Maybe. 110 pounds soaking wet, holding 2 cement blocks. That's what my dad would say.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But you give me enough energy. I love them. I also need the caffeine. But if I were to allow myself to have it every time, think about what would happen if you took it away from me. I wouldn't be much fun.
Right.
But also, that would suck.
Yeah.
And I probably couldn't mount the same intensity as I had been able to do in the past. And so we have to learn to not be dependent on external stimulus in order to take the next right action. Because most people who start an exercise or training program, think about it, January 1st, the gym is packed.
Right.
1 month later, empty, crickets.
Yep.
Crickets.
Right.
How many times are you going to do that?
Yeah. It's insanity.
You don't need to keep doing it over and over again.
Right.
You have to recognize the fact that you're totally predictable and stop being surprised by yourself. And I know that sounds like I'm not telling people what to do, but ultimately it's an invitation to get off that hamster wheel. Because think about it. Right now, we have this, quote, obesity epidemic. And I say quote because is it really an obesity epidemic?
Oh, yeah. You say here, 3 out of 4 Americans don't hit the bare minimum of physical activity, which is 150 minutes of moderate cardio and 2 sessions of resistance training per week. Roughly 70% of Americans struggle with obesity. 70% or being overweight, along with all the complications those conditions cause for muscle health. That's in your book. 70%.
It's probably a little bit higher. And there's no such thing as a healthy sedentary person.
Well, no.
Right.
It's not, those two things can't.
But I'm gonna offer up something else. And this is one reason why I feel so passionate about muscle, is that people think obesity, cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, that these diseases are all external and these are the diseases, right? As if they begin in isolation. But if we were to reframe thinking and say, okay, these are all rooted in metabolic dysfunction. And I think that the evidence is pretty clear that Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes of the brain. I think that we can say that cardiovascular disease, yes, there's a genetic component, but also those that have diabetes are at higher risk. There's a whole bunch of metabolic dysfunctions, obesity, and then type 2 diabetes. Now, if you were to pick one place that all of this begins, it's in one primary organ system. And that's the organ system that makes up 40% of our body weight. And that is muscle.
Wow.
That is muscle. We need to stop chasing symptoms and address the fact that we have muscle that looks like a Wagyu steak.
Right.
That's it.
That's so simple.
It is.
And so difficult for us as a society to wrap our head around. Why?
Because it's so much easier to focus on the external. Have you ever heard of the street lamp effect?
No. I
Okay.
don't think so.
Well, I love telling stories. So you're a captive audience now, so I'm going to tell you the story.
Bring it on. I love
Don't worry,
stories.
it's only going to be like 2 minutes. So that's what my husband says. Anyway, so think about being in New York City, Central Park, and there's a drunk guy and he's looking for his keys. There's a light post and it is just shining a light on this small area and everywhere else is dark. Drunk guy's on his hands and knees. It's 2 a.m. in the morning and he's looking. A cop comes over and he's like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, oh man, I lost my keys. I can't find them. Cop's like, can I help you? Totally. He gets on his hands and knees and he's all there looking for the keys. And after 20 minutes, the cop's like, hey man, the keys are not here. Are you sure you dropped them here? And he was like, no, I actually dropped them over in the park, but the park is dark. So this is where I'm looking. I say this metaphor to relate it to obesity. Obesity is the thing that we can see, but it's not actually, it's part of the problem, but the major issue is in skeletal muscle and our mismatch between how we manage muscle and our nutrition and our training.
It's a symptom.
It's a symptom.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing, is we've been working on extrinsic things when we should be working on intrinsic things. The things that build intrinsic value are things like making a plan and sticking to it, even if you make mistakes, but still continuing to stick to it because when you've achieved through something like that, you have built an intrinsic value no one can take from you, not one person. If you decide I'm going to turn this block of clay into a sculpture of my cat, and you do that, you have built intrinsic value. But that's what it sounds to me like healthcare and people's mentality about healthcare is dealing with the extrinsic, which what do you look like? What is the symptom as opposed to what's the cause, which is the intrinsic problem. And, you know, I was 48 and I was putting laundry in the dryer. And I grabbed the top of the dryer and pulled myself up. And I went, hold on, I'm only 48 and I can't get up from the dryer without helping myself. This stops today.
Wow.
I'm training. There's no way. I have to build my leg muscles. I'm not accepting this. This is not who I am.
So what happened? You couldn't like stand up by yourself?
Just stand, you know how you just stand up off the floor?
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that. And I was not heavy. I weighed the exact same I weigh now. I was not overweight. I was under-muscled. My muscles were just not there.
I love hearing you say that. So I cannot change the world by myself, right? I need people like you who understand what the mission is and how critical it is to tell a different story.
Yes, it's critical to tell a different story. And it's critical to say, to me, so when I first met you and I took a really superficial view of what you were talking about, I said, well, I could never be her. Look at her ripped arms. She is just like so muscular and so amazing. My genetics aren't going to do that. I just had every excuse in the book for myself. And then I started going, well, you don't have to be that. You have to be that for yourself. And then I read your book. And then in my book, I went, oh, wow, she's not even asking people to look like her. What she's saying is you can work out, you need more protein, period. You need to strength train, period. And you have, is it 3 or 4 different ways that you can do that? You can do this for longevity, you can do this for building muscle, or you can do this for weight loss. You choose. And I saw that and went, that's what I'm talking about. You choose that path. And then you choose behaviors that keep you on that path.
That's exactly right.
It's not that deep, really.
Exactly.
And so I was like, okay, when we see people in the world, because I come from very blue collar part of Georgia. I come from people who are not thin, but they also don't work out. And so I try to put myself in their shoes and say how impossible it must feel to see not just yourself, but other people who are very fit talking about getting fit and how do you bridge the gap from I'm on the couch and there's no way I can be there to getting to your own version of there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like an infomercial, but your playbook tells you exactly how, because it deals with the 4 things: how to think, how to eat, how to move, how to recover. And for me, until I fixed how I thought about working out, I never stuck to it. I went in and out of working out in various different ways. Bert used to say, you need a trainer. And I used to go, I don't need a trainer. I am not overweight. You don't know what you're talking about. I am never getting a trainer. And then when my brain said, you can't get off the floor by yourself, you need a trainer. Gosh. You don't know what you're doing. Why would you ever think you knew what you were doing? You need help. Go get help. That's what my brain did. But that was changing how I thought about it. The inspiration piece that you talked about. To me, I don't know how anyone decides to do something differently without inspiration. Because if you knew how to do differently, you would. Yeah. So what well do you put your bucket into over and over again to continue on? It's the well of inspiration, or at least it is for me. Because once you have the knowledge, you can continue to add knowledge. But once you get a base amount of knowledge where it's undeniable, okay, she's saying we need a lot of protein to maintain muscular health. All right, how much more knowledge am I going to add to that? I can dive deeper into what types of protein or whatever. But after that, the inspiration to me changes over time, because something that inspired you today, you use it over and over again. It doesn't inspire you as much. So my journeys in my life for mental health, for parenting, for being a good spouse is in search of inspiration, to always look for inspiration for whatever path you're walking. So if you pick up this playbook and you decide, I'm going to do everything in the playbook, I would encourage everyone to continue to look for inspiration to keep you in the playbook. Picture this. It's midnight and you're lying in bed, scrolling through this new website you found, hitting the add to cart button on that item you've been looking for. After 15 minutes, you decide you've done enough damage to your wallet and decide to check out. You remember that your wallet or card is in the living room and you don't want to get out of bed to go get it. Just as you're getting ready to abandon your cart, that's when you see it, that purple shop button. That shop button that has all your payment and shipping information saved, saving you time while you stay warm in your bed. That's Shopify, and there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes everything easier from checkout to creating your own storefront. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. Shopify gives you that leg up from day one with hundreds of beautiful ready-to-go templates to express your brand style and forget about the code. Tackle all those important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. And did I mention that iconic purple shop pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already love it. I love that purple button. As soon as I see it, I just go click and everything's handled and it shows up at my door. I love it. It makes shopping so easy. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/wife. Go to shopify.com/wife. Shopify.com/wife.
Yeah, I mean, I actually hadn't thought about it that way. I'm going to lay this out in two separate domains. There is inspiration, which changes over time. For example, right now while our kids are home, I was showing you videos. So my 4-year-old's training for the SEAL teams now.
Adorable. He's adorable.
He's doing 2-day workouts. So we had dinner with Jocko, and Jocko Willink scared the bejesus out of my son.
Why?
Because it's just what he does. And my husband was a SEAL. And so after Jocko scared him, I'm tougher than Jocko, right, mommy? I'm like, well, are you training? I'm training. I'm training to be a Navy SEAL. I'm tougher than Jocko. So it was really funny to see that. But the whole point in that story is that the inspiration at this moment is to be able to be home for them and be an example, which will change when they're out of the house.
Yes.
But if I can show them, not tell them, then it's much easier to build good habits when you're young versus spending 40 years trying to undo bad ones.
For sure.
And so, my son got inspired. We're all inspired watching him at 4 pushing this treadmill, which is unbelievable. And he's cold plunging.
It's amazing.
It's unbelievable. It's not like he's staying in there for 5 minutes, but it's hysterical.
Yeah.
And we encourage him to do that.
Sure.
And then, the other part of that is we have to recognize that there are going to be points in our life where we're not inspired. And we cannot allow that to throw us off target.
That's a good point.
And we have to depend on our commitment, and our standard, and not rely on motivation or inspiration.
Right.
So when it's there, it's incredible, but it's not always going to be there. It's going to ebb and flow, but you still have to have a plan in place that when the moment comes, you can respond to it.
It's that consistency, isn't it?
It's about being neutral, no narrative, and setting a standard. You are the type of person that does this. I'm not setting a January 1st goal to lose 10 pounds. I am the type of person that prioritizes being strong and gritty. And this is my standard. Our standard as a family is we train 4 days a week. This is what we do.
Right.
And so when things ebb and flow, which they inevitably do, you're ready to rise to the call.
Well, you said that in Forever Strong. I don't remember reading it in the playbook, but in Forever Strong, you said a couple things that really blew my mind in the beginning. Set standards, not goals. That's a paraphrasing of what you said. But I thought that was really a great little mind shift.
Yeah. And I learned this from a friend of mine. His name is Ben Newman. And the story goes like this. I was running 4 businesses, writing these books, traveling around with these 2 little kids. And by the way, my husband is a surgical resident.
At this time.
He's in school.
Wow.
He's like in his 2nd career. Crazy. And I'm traveling around speaking and I'm seeing patients. And I'm like, I got to talk to you, Ben. So I call Ben Newman, and what Ben does is he talks to all these professional teams and he flies around and he kind of gets them ready and locked in. I was like, Ben, yesterday you were in Dallas. Today you're in, I don't know, Omaha. And tomorrow you're in whatever. How do you do this? And he was like, do what? I'm like, Ben, what do you mean do what? You're doing this, this, and this. He goes, Gabrielle, it's just another Tuesday. And I was like, holy shit. He said, this is just the standard. Wasn't that big of a deal. And that changed everything for me. It really inspired me. And I all of a sudden became less attached to the speaking outcome, to the whatever it was, and way more in control of my own experience. And I just started viewing it as it's just another Tuesday.
Right.
Crazy.
The standard, though, in my opinion, when you just say this is my standard, it actually takes a lot of stress out of whatever it is you're doing.
Totally.
Because then you've made a decision, you've identified what it is you're doing or what your standard is, and it's non-negotiable. So it makes things almost easier.
It absolutely does. And that's why it's in the book. Because I wrote the book to be the book I wanted. The first book I wrote for the world. All about Forever Strong. You guys, let's re-educate ourselves about muscle, this organ of longevity. And the second book, I wrote, and that's why I'm so excited about it, is I wrote the book I wanted.
Wow.
And it has pictures and it has visuals and it has recipes and it has workouts and it has protocols. I don't have time to read 500 pages of a science book. Show me the evidence-based protocols. Give me a snippet as to why I'm going to do it and exactly how to educate it. And exactly how to execute it.
Yes.
And it's just super cool. I mean, you're one of the first people that have seen it. I was very excited. I think I sent it to you right when it came out. I was just so excited.
I looked through it quickly and then I went, wait, I'm going to read the other book first.
And people don't have to, by the way.
I don't think they do.
It's a standalone.
No, I don't think they do. I am an overachiever.
which is true. And that is why I do call you for parenting advice, because I'm like, I'm going to get a great answer if I get this question to LeeAnn, because again, there's all different kinds of hard.
Yeah, there's all different kinds of hard. Speaking of hard.
I did just publish a paper on sexual function muscle mass.
What?
Just in case
on sexual function and muscle mass?
I just wanted to take the opportunity. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you said this is hard. I recently published a paper. I swear to God. I just can't take me anywhere. I recently published a paper on sexual function. And when I say sexual function, I'm going to get very specific: erectile dysfunction, muscle mass, and strength. And what we found was that the more healthy muscle mass you have, the better your erections.
Really?
Yep. Now I just got the attention of every male out there. You are welcome. And one more thing, women also get erections. They have erectile tissue. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. So anyway.
And so I would imagine they're better too if you have better muscle mass.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really cover that in this paper, but I guarantee you, I mean, it's much more difficult to measure a female's erection because a clitoral tissue around there gets erect. But with a guy, you can. They've got little machines, whatever.
Yes.
But I just wanted to lay that at your feet. I wanted to inspire.
We're looking for a little inspiration. Now you have a little extra inspiration, gentlemen, for that.
You want your penis to work well and long, then you have to be strong.
You got to pump it up.
You got to pump it up.
I mean, but
that was really funny. That was pretty.
But something you said that I brought to my trainer actually was because he is training a guy who's playing college basketball, like D3 college basketball. And he was complaining to the kid that he didn't work hard enough. And I said, I just read this in a book. And I put it in my phone so I would remember it. The ultimate life hack is hard work.
That's right. That is exactly right. And, we are in this culture of you need to be softer and we need to have the bubble bath and the music. And guess what? We are in a culture of comfort and domestication, you do not need another hot bubble bath.
No.
I'm sorry, you don't.
No.
And I'm not trying to yell at people, but this is just an invitation. If you do hard things now and buck up now, life is going to be way easier. But if you take the easy path now, life is going to be way harder.
Yes.
And it's just the way that it goes. But we have reoriented ourselves that we need to reduce our stress and a whole litany of other things. Do you know there are 3 stress responses? There are 3 other stress responses.
What?
Fight or flight is just one of them.
Okay.
There's tend and befriend. Which is what women tend to do. If they get really stressed, they go, how can I help you?
Yes.
Or, hey, girls, like, let's talk about this.
Yes.
They go to help someone else or be of service. And there's the courage response. Someone gets stressed and they take immediate action.
Interesting.
But you've only been sold fight or flight. And that's why you believe that you should have a hot bubble bath, because you want to reduce that fight or flight. No, brother or sister.
Right? I didn't know that.
There are 2 other stress responses that if you know about them, you can cultivate them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really great to know. Information.
Also agency. It gives you agency.
Yes.
You remember Dr. Atkins?
Uh-huh.
Okay. At the height of his career, 1 out of 11 people in America were on the Atkins diet. He sold 10 million copies of his book.
Wow.
Yes. Now, information velocity is totally different. Someone could have that equal impact by going on TikTok for like 2 days.
Wow.
One spent an entire lifetime accruing knowledge, practicing with patients, building things up, versus 10 million on TikTok.
Right.
And so with that, I bring that up because it makes getting good information much more difficult. And so you said you have information, and I would say yes. And this information is meant to be understood, clear, and evidence-based.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I like the way you put your 2 books, because I feel like the first book, Live Strong, there was a lot of times, full disclosure, where I was like, she's saying blah, 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 medical term, blah, 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 medical term. This is some kind of enzyme. I don't know. But the end result is you need more protein. Got it. But I one of my good friends, Kathy, she was an EMT in college. So she's medical curious, I guess we'd call it. So I called her, and she's my age. I was like, you should read this book, because I think you would understand the medical piece way better than I did. But I loved that I said to her too, she was like, medical term, proof. Here's what I'm saying. It's just
hilarious.
So proven that you can't deny what's in the book. It's undeniable.
Yes.
So then you go, well, if I take that information, I have to do it. So some of the things I got from that book is that because I'm middle-aged, once you hit middle age, your body doesn't, please correct me if I say this wrong, your body doesn't process or use or assimilate protein in the way it did when you were younger. So it's really important when you hit middle age to increase the amount of protein that you're eating. And actually, as you laid out, based on what your goal, or not your goal, what your standards are.
I mean, we can say, you got to pick a target, but yeah.
If you're longevity focused, if you're muscle building focused, or if you're weight loss focused, when and how you eat that protein matters also, right?
Yeah. So the younger you are, the more flexible you can be. Remember when you were in high school? I don't know about you, but I ate the French fry diet.
Oh, I was pizza all day.
All day.
All day.
By the way, probably didn't change your body composition much, did it?
Not at all.
You were, exactly.
Yeah.
When you were young, you were driven by hormones and you're much more flexible. Mm-hmm. As we get older, and really in the literature, 65 and up is older, but for the sake of really protecting people and say, okay, you got to pick a number where it starts. Let's just say, 35 to 40, because for many people, hormones are changing at that time. This is the time where you have to recognize you are going to need more protein. And there's a whole host of reasons that there's variations and nuances, but for the sake of simplicity, let's say you hit middle age, you need more protein. And the reason you need more protein is because your efficiency, which is exactly what you said, your ability to repair and renew, your body is going to replace itself 4 times a year.
Wow.
You get less efficient at doing that. If you're like, oh gosh, that's a new gray hair. Oh man, my ankle hurts.
Mhm.
Well, your body is becoming less efficient at repair and replacement. This is also a surprising fun fact, is your body repairs and replaces around 250 grams of protein a day.
What?
Yeah. And we only eat on average, 80 grams.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that you or me should eat 250, but you just have to recognize that the efficiency of utilization decreases.
Yes.
Therefore, you become much more focused on how you're getting your protein. And that first meal and that last meal are the killer meals of the day. You got to get those right.
Right.
Super simple. First meal, 35 to 55 grams of protein. The last meal before you go into an overnight fast, 55 grams of protein.
Right.
Simple.
And what does that look like?
Well, for me, it's a protein shake.
Gotcha.
It's maybe some yogurt and a protein shake. For other people, it could be an egg, a couple eggs, not one. I mean, you got to get the 35 grams. It could be an omelet. It could be steak and eggs. It could be yogurt. It could be cottage cheese. I have a great recipe in the book that's honey whipped cottage cheese.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
I mean, that's good. It's really good. You should try that one. Spaghetti squash with egg in a hole is the best.
Really?
I cannot believe how good it turned out.
Really?
Yeah, anyway, I don't want to. Yes,
There's tons of recipes in the playbook.
But they are so good.
I can't
we
wait.
Tested them.
Yeah.
They're so good.
I can't wait to try them.
They are.
I know. I flipped through them. I was like, these all.
We also did bread pudding, low carb bread pudding.
What?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's another thing I liked when you were talking about food is you didn't say don't eat rice, don't eat potatoes,
No,
don't eat bread.
Go ahead. It just has to match your muscle activity.
Right.
Because ultimately, we don't want to trade the now for the later.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have all the foods that you want, but you have to make sure that you are training. So if you think about muscle as a suitcase, you open up the suitcase and you're going on a trip for 4 days. Suitcase is open, your carbohydrates are the clothes. You're going on a trip for 4 days, but you are packing for 14. You are just over, you got 5 pairs of shoes, 6 purses. You cannot close that suitcase.
Right.
All of the rest of the clothes, that's going to be laying on the floor. And imagine the floor is your bloodstream. It can't go anywhere.
Right.
So if you are not unpacking that suitcase, which is through exercise, you are just layering more clothes and more clothes and more clothes. And eventually that muscle and or suitcase cannot hold any more carbohydrates.
Right.
Stays in your bloodstream. And we have a disease for that. And that disease is called diabetes.
Yes.
But we have to recognize that the focal point is skeletal muscle.
Mm.
And so can you have whatever you want? Yes. If you want to eat more carbs, then you have to empty out that muscle.
Gotcha. That makes perfect sense.
Yes, it does.
Super easy. That suitcase analogy. Beautiful.
Took me a really long time to think about that.
Did it? Was it beautiful?
Yeah, because I'm like, God, how do we explain this and packing and yeah.
Well, something I liked in the Forever Strong book, I know we're here to talk about the playbook, but I wanted to bring this up. There are so many vegans and vegetarians in the world. I was vegetarian for a minute when I was in my 20s. I had salmonella from chicken. I thought I was going to die. I was sick for 10 days.
Oh my gosh.
It was terrible.
My husband had that and he was giving himself IVs. I was like, oh my God.
It was awful.
Yes.
And so I was like, I am never eating meat again. Never. And then 2 years later, I realized for about 18 months of the 2 years I was a vegetarian, I was anemic.
Same. So I was actually vegan for a while. And then I was vegetarian and my hair started falling out. My teeth were loose. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I cried the first time I ate chicken. And the average vegetarian or vegan, they're usually younger females.
Mm.
And their protein intake for a vegan is around 50 grams. And this is based on survey data. And then vegetarian is around 60. The minimum amount of protein someone should eat should be 100 grams.
Mm.
And people are like, what is that? Well, I mean, you can Google it, but it's not difficult to figure out.
Right.
But it is difficult because what happens is the narrative to go more plant-based without the education of protein affects muscle health when they're young, but also micronutrient status, like iron. So right now, 30% of our calories come from animal products, but we get, 65% of our nutrients from that.
Wow. Whoa. Say that one more time.
30% of our food comes from animal-based sources, but 65% of our nutrients come from that 30%.
Wow.
So if you believe the narrative that, we should just go more plant-based, we have to be very careful as to what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you're going to eat more processed foods, or are you going to be eating more fruits and vegetables? I think the best of both worlds is a combination of both.
Right. But you have to be aware of what you're giving up, so to speak, or how do you replace that percentage of nutrients that you're getting from meat-based or animal-based protein. That's pretty profound.
Yes. And it can totally be done, but it takes higher education.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really think about what is the amount of protein am I getting and how many carbs are going along with that. So
Right.
for example, if you're going to try to get your protein from almonds, it might be 420 almonds to equal a small chicken breast.
Wait, 420 almonds?
Yes, girl. Yes.
How does a human eat that many almonds?
I don't know. I just wanted to calculate it. I just wanted to know for myself.
Did you calculate it for real?
Yes.
Oh, of course you did.
And then
of course
it
you
takes
did.
6 cups of quinoa.
6 cups?
Yeah, for one small chicken breast. And then 2 cups of rice and beans.
So in your playbook, you have a little chart
Oh, yeah.
that shows you if you have this much, I don't remember the ounces, please, sorry, but this is how much you get from 6 ounces of red meat. This
Right.
is how much you get from 8 ounces of chicken. This is how much you get. And it's a little chart. So when you make your choices, you see the volume you have to eat. It's kind of a 1-to-1 comparison of each protein types. And so you can make a good choice.
And there are ways to do both.
Mhm.
There's soy protein. There's ways to do both.
Mm.
But it's not just the protein. It's also, like you said, you became anemic. You have to be aware that there's calcium, vitamin D, selenium, iron. These things are much more bioavailable from animal products.
Right.
Again, I don't care what someone does, whether they want plant or animal foods. You just have to have the education and information to be able to get the right micronutrients.
Right. So amino acids are what you're getting from animal protein.
That's right.
Right. And that's what you need for positive muscle health
That's right.
and building
And
muscle.
That's exactly right. Wow, you did really well on this book. I feel so proud.
I'm a good student.
You are a good
I
student.
am a good student. I'm an overachiever. Bert always says I'm the best lab partner because I'll do the homework because I want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to show up and talk to you and not know what I'm talking about. I'm just looking to make sure there was anything else I wanted to really hit on. Is there anything else you want to hit on?
No, I want to make sure I keep you on track.
Oh, I'm fine for time. I loved this. Embarking on this journey without keeping a food log is like going on a trip without a compass.
Yeah, or trying to hike Mount Kilimanjaro in sandals. Go right ahead.
So talk to me about a food log.
Well, listen, it's kind of like keeping track of money, keeping track of how fast you're going. If you have no idea, how are you going to make any changes?
Mm-hmm.
If you do not have what is it? Is it a speedometer? It is, right?
Yes.
If you don't have one and it's broken, how fast are you going?
Don't know.
You have no idea. If you never looked at your bank account and you were spending money, how would you know?
Right.
Why would it be so different for food?
Don't know.
I'm just curious. So there's a lot of restriction in terms of what people are willing to do and how they think about it. You don't have to do it forever,
Right.
but just do it so you know, so you're empowered and you're not shocked by whatever bad decision that comes along, or you're not shocked by getting blood work and elevated triglycerides.
Mm-hmm. I think your best friend when you are embarking on a journey like this, if someone wants to change their life in a certain way, is curiosity. If you can approach a food log, a new way of eating, a new regimen of working out with curiosity, it'll be so much more enjoyable. And then you learn at a greater rate of speed, I would imagine.
Yes. And that being curious is also being way less judgmental.
More neutral.
It is. It is an attribute. Yeah.
Of being more neutral.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a pretty naturally neutral person. Bert says often says I am just dead inside. And I don't think I'm dead inside.
That's not exactly what neutrality is.
No, but I think when you say that, I don't react to things in a
You're
big,
very calm and very
ways.
steady.
I'm very kind of like, I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's just the way it works. And my schedule works around that. And that's just my standard.
Mhm.
And eating, I'm not as good with eating, but I am good with eating in that I start every day with a protein shake. I put protein in my coffee. And I do try really hard to be protein focused. And then sometimes I just have pasta. Every once in a while I'll just have, half a loaf of bread. But for the most part, I do pretty good. And I wish that more people, let's talk about this. In the book, you talk about self-worth. And that really, that's the base of all of this. Is that right?
Yeah. I graduated medical school in 2006. And after that, you go through residency, but you start seeing patients. And over time, I would say a good doctor is good at recognizing patterns of disease, right? You expect a doctor to do that. But an effective doctor is a doctor that recognizes patterns of people. Because then you can leverage these patterns that you're seeing to help move people in the right direction. And over time, what I saw was people will only get as healthy as they feel worthy.
Wow. People will only get as healthy as they feel worthy.
Yeah. So for example, I'm going to give you a great example. Mm-hmm. If I had a woman, and let's say she was a 35-year-old woman, she was 30 pounds overweight. She lost those 30 pounds. Maybe she lost 40 pounds. And she was looking so good and feeling so good. It would be very uncomfortable for her mentally to stay at that weight because she didn't feel worthy of living in that body.
Wow.
And I would find, again, this isn't everybody, and there's a million different examples, she would sabotage herself.
Wow. So how do you circumvent that? How do you deal with that?
I mean, that's a great question.
Deep.
It's deep. Yeah.
That's really deep.
I know.
But what an amazing challenge.
Yes. Yes. And if you really want to get healthy, you have to feel worthy of it.
Wow.
And I will also say this, a good physician will be there with you. Mm-hmm. It's interesting in medical care now, you get 15 minutes with your doctor. Real close connection is actually what's required for healing. Mm-hmm. And that is definitely lost in a traditional clinic.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, being a physician to someone, it's a partnership.
I agree. And I'll tell you where I found a lot of that partnership was with my trainer. Mm-hmm. Where here's what I think. Why would you go to an expert and not listen to what they have to say? Why would I go to my doctor say, you have to start focusing on your muscle health and not do that? Why would you go to a piano teacher and not do the lessons that she's trying to get you to do to be able to be a pianist? It makes no sense to me at all. So for me, when I find someone like my trainer, like my doctor that's helped me with the hormone stuff that I've had going on when I was starting menopause and I had long COVID, she helped me so much. And she'd said to me, I have supplements, I have diet, I was already doing exercise, I have water intake rules for you, and I have hormones. And you have to do all of these and you have to do them exactly this way. And nothing's going to change for 18 to 24 months. Doesn't matter. You have to do it. And I went, let's fucking go.
Yeah. But I mean, you are a unicorn and that's amazing. And you've trained yourself, and it might be natural to interpret the stimulus in a certain way, but that's what we need. I saw it as a challenge instead of an obstacle.
Well, I don't want to be a unicorn. I want everyone to be like that.
I agree.
I think that everyone, why would you not be like that? You have to,
that's not trained. They haven't taken the time to train themselves
But how do you train that?
I mean, again, I think I cover this in the playbook, just ways in which you can dig into and create a program for your mind. You create a program for your body, you create a nutrition plan, but you do have to address what goes on in your mind. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to do it by yourself, right? You can do it with therapists or whoever that is, but you have to address it.
Right. Or what you work may not stick.
It won't stick.
It won't stick.
That's predictable. If you are
That just made my stomach drop.
Yeah.
I don't want that for anybody.
I agree. which is why we're doing this.
Yeah, I don't want that for
Which
anybody.
is exactly why we're doing this. I mean, I believe that the world can be a stronger, more resilient place.
I do too.
And so while we're talking about muscle and protein and all of this stuff, the goal is, the ethos is, how do we create a cultural shift to make stronger, better, more resilient humans?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the goal.
Yes, that is a goal. Something that should be part of that goal too is service. So in saying that, right? Service means a lot of different things to a lot of people. If you're wanting to change your body, your life, your health, your muscles, wouldn't it be amazing if you brought someone with you?
Yep. People are much better together because you might not be willing to do it for yourself, but you're going to be willing to do it for that other person.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I have a workout
exactly
partner
right.
and I go without her when she's not with me. But boy, is it amazing to be on a journey with someone else. I think we are meant to be with others.
I agree.
We're not lone wolves. We are meant to be in a pack. And that is being of service.
I think that is absolutely right. And we are much better off because it's interesting. Humans, for the most part, would be willing to do it for the person sitting beside them, even if they're not willing to do it for themselves. And in doing that, you end up lifting each other up.
Right.
Having a partner, you don't need a ton of people. You just need a few that are committed.
Yes. And that builds intrinsic value.
It sure does.
It does. It does. Oh my gosh. How have we not been friends our whole life?
Well, we have been. We just have a lifetime to catch up on.
I think you're right.
Of course I am.
Yes. I think you're right.
Yes.
I feel like I've found a very like soul.
I mean, yes.
Very similar
Yes.
soul. I can't believe I haven't spent more time with you.
We're catching up. We're doing it.
I know. Anything else we need to say about the Forever Strong playbook? When does it come out?
January 27th.
Okay.
If people are interested, it's available for pre-sale. You can go on my website, drgabriellelyon.com. I have a newsletter. I'm on Instagram. We have a medical practice. We have the original Forever Strong. I have a podcast. I don't know if I'm missing anything else.
I don't think so.
I do push-ups with my kids,
That's awesome.
but that's it.
That's a lot.
And, I really am here to be of service. It is not easy pushing and putting these things out there. But again, I feel like it's a responsibility and I cannot do it alone.
No.
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 I need everyone's support.
It has to be a movement, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Well, I hope it inspires people who are listening to read your book, read the playbook, because the playbook is so digestible and so action-oriented that if you are inclined to really make a change, to make a different choice, to have a different journey, really. How many different, like your husband's on a whole full-blown second career. Isn't that exciting? It's so exciting to think life can start again today.
Absolutely.
And
You're never too old.
Never too old. And I can feel better. Who cares about looking better? It's about feeling better.
But you can always look better too.
Well, that's icing on the cake. Cake's still good.
That's exactly right.
So get some good cake going.
LeeAnn, I love you. I love spending time with you. This is just so fun. And I'm so happy to be here.
Me too. Let's go to dinner.
Okay. What are we having? Steak?
Steak, yes.
And cake?
Maybe, but definitely steak.